Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Before I Do, the show that shares with you everything that should be done before saying I do, whether you are single, dating, divorced, if you are inquiring about getting married, not sure of what's out there. Our responsibility, our honor, our job is to facilitate courageous conversations on dating and relationships.
Yes, and tonight we want you to be very courageous, because it is our Speak Now Q&A night. Yes, you are here. We're all here for you. We work for you. So tonight, your job is to ask us some questions. Yes, and our job is to answer them. So literally, we work for you. And so now is the time to think about questions you have about dating, anything, right? And then we're here to support some answers for you. Now, just because you asked the question, we won't automatically assume that this is a question that you have about you. Okay, so you can ask the question
for a friend,
okay, or someone else that you know. Just be brave, be bold, be courageous, and ask us your questions.
Before I Do is an interactive show, so be sure to put your questions and comments in the chat portion, or if you just want to say good evening, we definitely welcome that as well. And so yes, this is Before I Do, and so also too, it allows us the opportunity at the end of the month to actually reflect on the topic that we've been talking about for the past few weeks, which has been really fascinating. We've been talking about dating after divorce or after a major breakup, which has really been insightful. And thank you for those of you who have commented. We had a lot of great funny comments last week, but obviously there was a lot of truth to them as far as the dating pool, the challenge of not only trusting others when it comes to dating after divorce, but also trusting yourself.
That's right.
And what that looks like. This whole idea of what does it look like to be mentally ready and prepared to date? What does that look like on the physical side? And then how do we make choices when it relates to the individuals that we choose? Do we want more of the same? And do we attribute our previous experience to that particular person? Or maybe do we need to change and switch up a little bit? Maybe some of the things that I thought I wanted and needed, I didn't need those things as well. So are we willing to really provide a positive and comprehensive self-reflection of some of the things that we want and desire in a relationship post-divorce or breakup?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing this month that has been huge is really in all of those things, it requires you to spend time with yourself. It requires you to love on yourself, spend time with yourself in your thoughts, right? Not being afraid of the quiet, right? Sometimes we try to fill those moments with social settings, especially if you're an extrovert. It's easy to want to get that energy, that charge, and being around friends and family and just surrounding yourself with people. And that's okay if you need that emotional support and you just need to be around people, because we absolutely don't want you to isolate yourself after a breakup to where you're sad and you're just kind of going down this path of being by yourself if it's going to make you sad. However, it is important to make sure that you really spend time to get your thoughts out there, to really examine where your heart is.
And speaking of being around other people, we do have the Couples Academy Phoenix Awards Gala that's coming up on Saturday, October the 7th. That will take place in Alpharetta, Georgia. This is going to be a night of celebrating love and relationships. There'll be live entertainment. There'll be dancing. There's going to be some great opportunities for networking. And so we definitely encourage you. For more information, go to couplesacademy.org. But I wanted to talk about this, Charmaine, because not only is it going to be a great event, but you talked about stepping out of the box when it comes to dating and the opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals. And some of the things that we hear from people is that it's so hard to connect with individuals that have the same type of mentality and mindset that I have. Now, back in the day, right, it was people would tell you go to church,
right,
or go to this particular event. But a lot of those things are becoming not necessarily the best place if you're even looking for like-minded individuals because of some of the mask and the things that people put on. But an event like the Phoenix Awards Gala, it allows you to engulf yourself in an atmosphere of individuals who are purposing to really who are really purposing to walk in the fullness of their marriage, individuals that have also challenged and struggled. And don't be fooled too. We had a really great conversation this morning. Everybody at this gala isn't going to be on necessarily the best terms. We're not there because we're perfect. We're there because we're actually encouraging one another, right? The Bible talks about iron sharpening iron. And so as iron sharpens iron, one brother strengthens another. And so this idea is that as we come together, right, there is a synergy. There is an intrinsic support that takes place, right? There's this energy that is contagious, right? Almost like a virus, but on the positive side, where you have this encouragement. And so again, we really encourage you to definitely join us for the Phoenix Awards Gala on Saturday, October 7th. But more than that, to really begin to step outside of the box of some of the places that you put yourself in a position to really potentially connect with individuals that have the same mentality that you have.
Yes. Come fellowship with us, join us, put on a dress, put on a suit, put on, whatever inspires you to feel good about you, and just join us in Atlanta. We want you to come to Atlanta. We want you to get your Gala Award ticket and meet us in person. We want to meet you in person, right? And celebrate you. This is about relationships. You are in a relationship with yourself. And so really do something outside of the box. So if you're like, you know what, I need to say yes to something new, say yes to this, be our guest, right? And then have the opportunity to just really be in a room that is going to be contagious, okay? People who believe in speaking into existence what they want and putting the hands, feet, and the belief systems behind it to make it happen. And so we want to fellowship with you, and this is an opportunity to get all dressed up and just enjoy yourself. So we look forward to seeing you there.
We're talking about the 2023 Couples Academy Phoenix Awards Gala going down on Saturday, October the 7th in Alpharetta, Georgia. But tonight, this is actually our Speak Now Q&A night. And so we are here for your questions. So please be sure to put them in the comments section. We're going to take a really brief, quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Before I Do. Welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight is our Speak Now Q&A night. We are here for your questions, so be sure to put your questions in the comment box, and we will be sure to get to them. But we've also been talking about our key topic and theme for the month, which has been should I or am I ready to date following divorce and breakup, which has been really insightful. And so one of the things that we did talk about was this idea of, again, am I dating? Am I looking for more of the same? Or am I just open to whatever? Am I allowing myself to be open for just allowing love and relationship to find me in very unconventional ways? It becomes a way of exploring. And Charmaine, you mentioned this whole idea of really being open to kind of be out of the box and really understanding that it's a time of self-discovery as well. Of really getting back to where are you right now in life as far as who are you? It gives you a chance to really rediscover yourself all over again following a divorce, following a major breakup and separation. It really allows you the chance to really get to know yourself.
Yeah. I will say this, for example, we have a lot of things on our, first of all, if you need some ideas, right? When you're talking about dating outside of the box, if you're one of those individuals who you're like, you know what, I want something new, I want something fresh, right? So I love using the awareness calendar, right? So if you go online and you Google awareness calendar, right? Literally, we have every month, there's about 20 different awarenesses, right? That you can make yourself aware of, right? And so that there are tons of events surrounded by these awareness months, right? So let's say if you like dogs, if you're a dog lover or you're a cat lover or whatever, I'm sure there's an International Dog Lovers Day, right? Where literally when you go on the awareness calendar, you can find so many events where they are raising money for dogs. They're having a night, one of those night fun runs where they have the glow in the dark powder, or they got a glow in the dark run. You can raise money for charity. And so if you're looking to get out there and to meet new people, the awareness calendar is a huge way to do it, because it is attached to local events in your area that really celebrate different awarenesses. And of course, if you're an advocate for pets, if you're an advocate for breast cancer awareness, or maybe that speaks to your heart, then attend some of these events, get out there, join some groups, and really just explore some new things. You might decide to get into a flash mob group or a line dance group that they go out and you learn line dances with other people.
Country people don't play. Listen, country line dances it's a whole different level. I'm telling you, it's a whole another respect I have for them.
Yes. So that's definitely one way to get yourself out there, right? And just making sure that when you know you're ready for something new, right? Challenge yourself not only to go to new places, right? But sometimes you have to have a regiment to be prepared for newness. Like, do you have a regiment for, okay, I want something new, but I still look the same, I didn't change my hair or anything. And so I'm dressing the same. So I kind of feel the same. And so what are some things that you would encourage someone to do to get themselves ready or kind of, excited about walking into a new experience? Because it can be scary.
Yeah, I was going to say, what I will say is that at least on the Hollywood, like TV dramatic side, when a woman goes through a divorce, right? They like the woman cuts her hair. She started there's this whole thing, right? There's this whole transformation of
makeover.
A woman that and the purpose of it, right? To your question, it really is about being intentional.
Yes.
So it's about being intentional if with your change. In other words, if you're going to change, set your mind to the point of, okay, I'm going to change. And so that means that maybe it starts with taking a different route to or from work. Maybe it starts with like, instead of taking the elevator, I'm going to take the stairs. Maybe it's you walk instead of walking or catching a bus somewhere. But the whole point is that you want to be intentional with your change. Don't make it haphazard, but set a plan to actually institute that change, and then start with small changes. Some of the challenges that people have with change is that they make this commitment for this large wholesale change. And I know for me, change can be intimidating. It can be a very frightening prospect of having to change something, because you're letting go of something that you're sure of for something that you're not sure of. And for me, because there are often people that are tethered to the things that I do, like, I'm not just concerned about how that change impacts me. I'm concerned about how that change impacts the people who are dependent on me, that are the people who I love, that are tied and tethered to the decisions that I make. So a good rule of thumb is to make sure that you kind of ease yourself into it by starting with small change, and then making sure that you are being intentional. You don't want to just kind of throw caution to the wind, but you really want to make sure that you're thinking through some of the change that you want to make.
Absolutely. And this is specifically important if you are a person who are really regimented and you are big on your routine, right? There's small things that you want to do. If you want to make room for someone into your life, you have to start shifting some of you keep a routine, right? But you still employ little small moments of change.
Absolutely. So we actually have our first question from Leo. Leo, thank you for joining us this evening. Leo asks, are there any practices to be a better listener and respond to the issues that are being addressed by my fiance? I tend to miss the points that are being addressed that actually matter.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for bringing this up, right?
Yes.
Listening is a huge, huge skill
Mhm.
that we all have to have in practice and to constantly build in order to have healthy and effective relationships, and specifically our romantic relationships. So the first thing that we want to tell you, yes, there are a lot of strategies. First of all, there's those internal strategies and those are the external strategies. And we want to start with the fact that if you want to be an attentive listener, which is what you're asking about, how can you be more of an attentive listener and making sure that you're getting the points that matter? First of all, in a relationship, when we're doing counseling with couples and we actually do an assessment on the type of listener that you are, because there are 4 different areas that really impede all of us from being a good listener. We all have a behavior that prevents us. But the first thing is to be an attentive listener. You have by now, you should be picking up what matters most to your partner. Right. And so you're saying, I tend to miss the points that are being addressed that actually matter. And so right now, you already know right now, you want to make sure you're in a place where you want to make your partner, you want to ensure that they feel heard, right? And so the first thing is on the external side, you want to slant. And so you want to sit up, you want to lean in, you want to actively listen, you want to nod your head, you want to be prepared for questions. See, an attentive listener, you not only slant, meaning slant is an acronym that means sit up, lean in, attention out, you nod your head, right? And pretty much you're tracking the speaker. So making sure, one, you get rid of anything that can be a distraction. You know that if there's some attention issues, and I used to be that person, that if somebody talks, they're talking for a long period of time, I constantly, if somebody says something, I'm a visual person and I can get an image in my head and I can get distracted for a moment. So if you're a person like that, where your attention is quickly divided, when you're having a serious conversation with your partner, or if they want to have a serious conversation, first of all, you might have to write some things down. Okay. I don't care if it's a small Post-it note. While you're listening to them, just jot down words or things that, you're hearing them say. But you sit up, you lean in, right? You actively, you're attentive, you nod your head, and you track the speaker, making sure you're keeping your eyes on the person. When you're listening, you don't want to just listen to what is being said, right? You want to pay attention to the emotion that you're seeing this person, that you're seeing your partner exhibit, and, and what seems to be the big idea for them. Why are they sharing this with you?
So not just content, but context. So not just content, but context.
What are they saying? Why are they saying this? Right. And pretty much for me, it's how are they wanting me to show up for them right now? Right. And so every partner is different. And that's one thing we can't answer for you. Your partner, first of all, but you can ask that question. So you want to ask your partner, how can I support you in this moment?
Yeah. And in going into every conversation, especially in the interim stages, since you're learning how to be a better listener, you will want to ask, hey, what is your expectation of me, even from a response standpoint? Are you looking for me to just be a sounding board, or are you looking for me as a think partner in this particular situation? In the majority of the couples that we counsel, the challenge usually always goes back to a breakdown in communication.
Yes.
So know, Leo, that you and your partner are not alone. This is something that you constantly have to work at in your relationship. And so when it comes to listening, when we do premarital counseling and we talk about communication, we don't start with speaking.
Nope.
We start with listening. So when we talk about communication, which listening is one part of that, and speaking and speaking is the other side of that, then we always start with listening. Now, the other thing is when it comes to your response, because you did talk about responding to the issues, know that when it comes to speaking or communicating, your actual words are only around 10% of what is really being received. 65% of what you are communicating is your body language and your facial expressions. So really the majority of what is communicated is the reading of your body language, and again, and how you're saying what it is that you're saying as well, your tone, and those things. And so we really encourage couples, as Charmaine mentioned, for you to become a student of your partner, for you to become really mindful and in tune when they get ready to speak, to position yourself to eliminate distractions, to ensure that you're putting yourself in a position to be able to receive everything that's being said.
Yes. And and the one thing that we love to audit, because there's 4 different areas that prevent all of us from being a good listener, that can come in and interrupt our patterns. And so for you to know what are those things that interrupt your ability to get the actual matter. The first thing that we're going to tell you, Leo, is be direct, right? We want you to focus on the what, the why, and the how. What is my partner saying? If you have to write it down, because some of us, maybe our short-term memory is not the best, right? So after hearing my partner, man, they said a lot. I don't remember half of what they said. Okay, well, we need you to be able to grab something to write with, say, hey, I want to make sure that I'm fully listening to you. And so let me just grab something to write with, jot that down so you know what they're saying, and then get to the heart of why they're saying it, right? And if you don't know, it's okay to ask. And then how, right? How would you like me to support you in this moment? One of the most powerful questions you can ask.
And in conjunction with that, part of the process that's important with that is not being afraid to ask follow-up questions so that you can get clarity. But even in doing that, what it does is it allows your partner to be able to know that you're tracking, that you're listening, and that you're seeking understanding. So those follow-up questions will allow them to be able to not only expound more, but it gives them the reassurance that my partner is listening and he values what is being said.
Absolutely. Now, I'm just going to tell you 3 of the 4 because we want you to call us and book us for a session.
Yes,
but
don't give them all the recipes.
Well, I'm going to give you at least 2 of the 4 reasons why a lot of times we are all challenged to be attentive listeners. I'm going to pick the 2 that I think. Okay, so one of them is called autobiographical listening. Yep. What that means is if you're that person and you're listening to someone and they're telling you something and they say something that you have a connection with. Let's say, oh yeah, one time I took my girlfriend out on a date and she was rude. She kept sending the food back. Nothing was ever good enough for her. And you're like, you know what? The same thing happened to me when I went out on a date and blah, 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 blah. That is called autobiographical listening. That means that you're really not listening because as soon as you made a connection with what that person said, you now completely took the microphone and you now have this story happening in your head that you're telling yourself because you have a connection with this person and their story. And so you're not really listening because now you have mentally tapped out and you're having that audio biographical moment. And so that's one distraction to us being an attentive listener. And if that's you, yeah, you got to work on it. I'm like that too. So I'm
definitely guilty of that.
I have to work on that.
Yeah.
Another one, all right, I'm not going to tell all 4, but another one is the solution listener. Like the person is talking about, oh my gosh, I had a flat tire this morning. I'm always late for work, but I try to get there. I set my alarm clock. And as soon as this person is talking, you're coming up with solutions. Like your list is building. You're like, okay, well, you need to set your alarm clock 30 minutes earlier. Okay, you need to do this and need to do that. You're automatically building this list of solutions for this individual while they're talking. Stop. Because
they didn't ask for
solutions.
They
did not ask you for solutions. Okay. Now, if and a lot of us do that, right? We talk to our partners and we don't often give the expectation. Right?
Exactly.
I used to do that a lot to my husband. I would come and I would just talk to him. And then after I'm done talking, he's just kind of
I don't know what's expected of
he's
him.
deer in headlights, right? Now, but you're a natural solution listener, right? He's a natural solution listener. And there are times where I'm like, look, I didn't ask you to fix my problems.
Yep.
In this moment, I need some leadership advice. That's it, right? Don't mean I'm going to take your advice. I just want you to expand my thinking. I think this way. I need you to help me think more global. So my goals were always to be more of a global thinker. And so that he since has learned that, honey, I'm here for leadership advice. I need you to stretch. I'm trying to get a more global perspective. This is my perspective. I need you to help give me some other perspectives so that I can be a more in-depth leader, right? And so I've learned to set the expectations for my listener. Mm-hmm. We all have to do the same thing. It takes time though, okay? Sometimes I'm telling him, you know what, I'm just venting right now and I just want you to listen and that's it, right? I try not to do that a lot, but that's a phenomenal question. And we so appreciate you, Leo, for asking that, because we all have these things that interrupt our quality as a listener, right? Our quality listening abilities. And so to be an attentive leader, it is important to know if your short-term memory is not the best, you need to start having something to write with where you can jot down the bullet points that your partner is mentioning. Lead with questions, okay? Lead with questions so you can get clarity, and then ask them, hey, how can I support you in this moment? What are you needing from me? And then that way it'll set you up for success.
Leo, thank you so much for your question. And thank you all for joining us for our Speak Now Q&A night. We do this the last Wednesday night of every month. And I love Q&A night because it is completely focused on your questions and our answers and insights. So be sure to join us. Hey, listen, so we are going to tease our topic for next month. Yes. And so as we're coming out of this series talking about dating after divorce or breakup, we got to thinking, right? Should you date outside of your age range? So 10 years or more younger,
20,
10 years or more older. What does that look like? What are some of the pros? What are some of the cons? What are some of the things that we have to bear in mind of? So that's going to be what we're going to be covering next month. Should you date outside of your age range? So be sure to tune in for Before I Do. And we're also encouraging you, for those of you that are hearing us talking about dating after divorce or breakup, go back and check out the series, because we would love to be able to get more insight from you all and more comments. And be sure to reach out to us, book us for a session. Yes. We're at couplesacademy.org, and we would love to partner with you in your individual and collective journey. My name is Walter Jennings.
My name is Charmaine Jennings.
We're your Couples Academy practitioners. And until next time, we'll see you all next week for more Before I Do. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.